Hey everyone, so some good news you may have noticed immediately, but the audio is now different, and that is for the better. Things are just a little bit changed around, and I've got a new audio editing technique I'm going to try, so let me know what you think of it. And again, without further ado, welcome back to the AutoFlux Mini Games Season 3, although this is really only Season 1 of the mini games. This is actually the final challenge that we're going to be doing between these two cars, but as you can see from the title, it is a fuel economy challenge. Now, I'm going to be doing things differently this time. I remember some complaints from my previous attempts at doing something related to fuel economy, so this time I'm going to be doing it in a way that should make a little bit more sense. We'll see how that goes. We'll probably end up doing it twice, but that depends on time. I don't want these videos to be too long. Either way, let me tell you what's going on. So I've got two cars lined up right here. They're pretty much right next to each other. It should be even enough. This is the high-speed track on the beam map. And basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be accelerating up to 100 kilometers an hour, and then I'm going to set the cruise control. So we're going to stay steady at highway speed of 100 kilometers an hour, assuming you actually follow the speed limits. And then we'll be able to see how far we can go with, I'll show you right now, 1 liter of fuel. So both of these cars only have 1 liter, and that's where this challenge comes in. We're going to see how far they can go with 1 liter of fuel on the highway, doing 100 kilometers an hour consistently. And I think we'll probably be able to get a few laps out of this track. It's a 4.2 kilometer ring. I'm guessing we're going to be able to do it at least twice, maybe even 3 times. Yeah, that would be my expectation, but again, we shall see. So let me see if I can get this car up to 100 kilometers an hour in an easy way first, and then we'll move on. So our first challenger is going to be the front wheel drive Trig cubed basically, but it's the Trifect 3. Let's go ahead and give this a go. I'm going to quickly reset the clock, and then I'll start the engine. Each one of these cars is going to get a start, so that's pretty important to consider. And again, I'm going to accelerate pretty fast, not crazy fast, but pretty fast, up to 100 kilometers an hour. We'll get up into the gears as well, and I'll tell you a little bit about my thinking in terms of this and how we're going to organize things. So we're here, set that, we're at 102, we'll go down to 100, and this is where we're going to be sitting for a while. But the thing is, I'm going to move it very quickly up to the 6th gear. Now, those of you who know anything about gearing, which I'm assuming is most of you, will know that because our RPM is much lower, our engine is not working as hard to keep us up in this current speed, basically. So far, we've actually already done a kilometer. But you can see our RPM is down under 3,000, so we should actually get reasonable fuel economy here. I'm saying reasonable, but we'll try to translate it to real life as well. So going around the high-speed loop is honestly pretty boring. There isn't really much going on here. I'm using the wheel because I can be a lot more precise with it. You can actually see my movements down in the bottom left, and you can also see the throttle pedal, although I'm not actually going to be pushing any pedals for this entire duration here, except for the beginning, of course. So the high-speed track contains four very large banked corners, which bring you around basically a giant oval, although it's kind of like a rounded edged rectangle, because it does have these flat portions in between each banked section, but that's how we're going to be getting around it. And as you can see here, we're just coming up on one of the bank sections. Now, my strategy for this is to sort of keep a little bit low. I want to be in either the middle or this section I'm currently in right now. Sometimes we'll be going to the middle of the bank turns just to maintain momentum, and then other times we'll be hugging in tight on the center here. Like, as we're trying to keep consistent speed, we're not trying to go faster and faster. We're just trying to stay as efficient as possible. And so far, we're almost actually done 1 lap. Alright, for this section, I'm going to have to move out of the way a little bit because the other car is right there. We don't want to crash into it. That kind of ruins the whole point of this. But as you can see, we're coming around. This is where we started, and this is where we are going to be going through 4.3 kilometers, and that is 1 lap down. Let's see how many of these we can do. I was a little hesitant to do this just because it's so simple. Like, there isn't really much to this challenge. It's just get to 100 kilometers an hour and then stay there and see how long you can stay there on 1 liter of fuel. But I think it'll come with some interesting metrics, and I'm interested to see if this car or the other one will take it based on, I don't know, front wheel drive, all wheel drive. Like, this one has less power, it's a little bit lighter, so theoretically it should win, but the orange car does have better acceleration. It might be able to go a farther distance in that time. Like, acceleration doesn't really have much to do with it though. Like, as I say that, I'm now realizing that this is much more about the constant speed. Fuel economy was not even a slight consideration, so I don't even know which one has better economy and automation. That's something to go back and check, I guess. Well, we are still cruising. I think it'd be interesting actually to make a car for maximum efficiency and see how far it can go on this sort of challenge. Just basically put the gears up so that 100 kilometers an hour is like super low in the RPMs, and then I don't know, very thin wheels maybe, just enough to keep it on the track, and then we could see how far it can actually go. Might be an interesting build. Oh, the car has died. Okay, so one thing to do here, I'm trying to hold it, but I'm going to turn off the engine, and then we are going to coast as far as we can go. Instead of braking like I did before, we're just going to coast. And I'm just going to leave it in 6th gear as well. So the challenge basically ends when we stop, which it looks like it's going to be right here, which I guess would be our 2nd lap. That's not bad at all. It looks like we're going to make it onto the 2nd lap and more, which is pretty cool, to be honest. I'm pretty happy that it went this far. That's 8.7 kilometers, but by the time we get to the end, I don't know. Okay, going 40 kilometers an hour around this banked corner is just not going to happen, so I'm just going to move on in here just very slowly towards the center of this curve. We are bouncing quite considerably, and I'm sorry you might be bearing witness to some wheel noise coming up here because I don't know why this track is just so bouncy here. But it does make some noise when you get down to low speeds. Either way, I'm actually going to leave the car here just so we have a marker of its grave, I guess, from where it ran out of fuel. I'll just tuck it in real slowly, and then, ooh, we're close. Alright, I'm just going to hold it. Parking brake on. Parking brake, please stay on. Well, parking brake won't stay on, but this is our final resting place. It looks pretty good up on the track here, but that's how far we've come, 9.1 kilometers for this car. Alright, on to the Panther Circle S. Let's see how far this one will go with the same challenge. It is set to the same fuel. I will confirm that for you in case you are concerned, but yes, it is the same fuel. So let's go ahead, we'll reset this, and we'll start up the engine and go. Alright, this car does not have much trouble getting up to 100 kilometers an hour. It is quite fast. I believe we can stick it out in gear 4, and then gotta accelerate just a little bit more. And boom, right there, 100 k's an hour. And then quickly, once again, I'll move up into 6th, which is the highest gear that this car has. Now, if they had more gears, they would theoretically be more efficient. This car being a little bit louder, but again, just under 3,000 RPM. Maybe a little bit higher, but yeah, just under 3,000. We should see some good efficiency out of this one as well. And cruising along, it's a nice Sunday drive on the endless abyss over there. Thankfully, this car does also take the bank corners without much trouble. We are going to need to make sure to avoid the obstacle that we've kind of put down on the track, but we'll see how that goes. It shouldn't be too bad. Well, not much to say once again as we look out upon the abyss. I really do like how this grid map basically just goes forever because it's good for those top speed challenges, of which we may try eventually. And this track is also a really good place for that as well. Yeah, it's cool to be able to drive cars fast around here, but they really do have to have, like, if you want to get up fast, you really have to have good downforce, otherwise you're just going to fly away on those bank corners. Again, another challenge for the future potentially. 3.5 kilometers in and we're coming up to the end of our first lap. RPM is a little wavering, but trying to stay steady here on the interior section as we come around this point. I guess this does give us less distance, but it's not that big a deal. We should still be able to maintain our speed. Like, overall laps don't really matter, that's just a measure that I'm thinking about, but it is about distance. The thing is, now, if this car manages to do the same 9.1 kilometers, then we're gonna have to base it off of their actual physical location. The reason that that physical location isn't as accurate, like, I could go higher on the track, and that would theoretically make me go a farther distance as I do a lap around the track. That would be an interesting thing to test, but the thing is, like, when you go around the interior of a curve, it's less distance than the exterior. So that's my thinking in that area. Basically what I'm saying is the most efficient way to get more laps is to stick to the inside, but if you want distance and you don't care about laps, it doesn't matter. You can go on the inside or the outside. Well, so far so good. We should be coming up on the end of this run, as this is around the area that the other car died. At least I think so, because we only managed to do 2 laps, but we still have that distance where we can just coast. That'll be interesting to see. Oh no, look at this. Looks like this car might actually be more efficient. The turbo might have been letting us down there because currently we are about to blow by that other car. Uh-oh. Down we go, and we'll just leave it in 6th. Engine is off. Let's coast all the way to the end and we'll see if we can pass this other car here. Now this is where things might get a little bit tricky because I might run out of speed and then not be able to go around it, but yeah, let's see. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully I can keep it up on the wall. So far so good. Let's just pass by. And it looks like the Panther has won this challenge, which means we don't even need to do another one because, again, the Panther has won it all. Well, there it rests, 9.3 kilometers. That is 0.2 kilometers more than the Trig. So there you can see the distance. The other one back there on the curve as well. That was pretty good. That was actually a lot of fun. I think we may as well, just for fun, let's do the full throttle version so you can see what that is like and you can see how much shorter a distance that is. Alright, so I have reset the systems. Everything is back to the same place that it was before. And let's go ahead and try to be aggressive here. Let's go all the way down, pedal to the metal right out of the gate, just like the drag strip. And we'll see how far these cars can go. And again, we'll be starting off with the Trig. Alright, here we go. Engine on, and we'll just blast it. Starting off here, trying to do everything I can to keep this car in line. I believe these cars tap out or cap out somewhere around 170 kilometers an hour around here from what I can tell. This one especially is not as fast as the other. I don't know if we're actually going to be able to get up to that maximum speed though while we still have fuel. I don't think we're even going to get 1 lap, but we shall see. Alright, I'm cruising here, doing 178 kilometers an hour. That is a little bit faster than what I anticipated, but I am up into 6th, and so far we are flying. Definitely a lot faster than 100. I mean, it is faster than 100. It's almost twice as fast, but this is going to be way, way less efficient. We are using 100% throttle and not even going twice as fast as we were, so that is a little bit sad, but oh, there it goes. That's all that it had in it. Engine is off and we'll coast in 6th gear. That's only like, yikes, that's gonna be 3.3 kilometers maybe? Although we do have a lot of speed to come down from. Well, thankfully we are slowing down pretty slowly with this car. Currently at 3.5 kilometers. We may even make it to a lap if we can get around this bank corner without any issues. So far so good. Yeah, it looks like we are gonna make it for a lap. And we may end up going the same place that we did before, just minus 1 lap. And say goodbye to the Panther. That's 1 lap done. Let's take the outside line. I don't think this car is going to last too much longer. Although I probably should take the inside so that we can park it up on the edge. This is going to be good though. So far we're actually going to make it almost to the exact same place we did before. And looks like we've come to our final resting place right next to this corner. And that was not too bad. Oh goodness. Let's just hold that there. We'll just keep the parking brake on. There we go. That's not bad at all. That was actually a decent run. 4.8 kilometers. Let's try the orange car. Alright, in a similar vein, let's start this one up. And then immediately accelerate as fast as we can. As you can see, the pedal is 100% down. It actually does take a bit of force to get that down too. People kind of mistook my talk about the rubber stopper on the brakes as being complaining, but I'm not complaining too much. It's just something to adjust to. I'm not going to be changing the pedal setup. Anyways though, let's get this car going. This one, like I said, is a little bit faster than the other one. You can probably hear a bit of wheel vibration there, but we'll just glide on through this. 178 without much trouble, up into 6th gear. That's it for the gear changes on this run. We just have to find a way to get around these curves now. 183. Goodness. Well, we are navigating curves a lot faster than I thought we would, but again, I fear that we're going to run out of fuel once again. 2.3 kilometers. This thing is wickedly fast. Ooh, There it goes before the curve this time. Now this could end up being interesting. We were going a little bit faster, but I think we ran out of fuel a little bit before the other car. So this could end up falling short, interestingly enough. Oh goodness, it's getting hard to keep it on the bank curve. I don't think we're gonna make it as far as we did before. Goodness, I am surprised actually. I guess in a shorter distance when you accelerate that much. This car uses a lot more fuel than the front-wheel drive one does. And we're losing speed fast. We're going about residential speed right now. And now we're getting near the school zone era. Yeah, there's no chance we're going to make it all the way over there. Look, you can see the car in the distance. But anyway, almost done. 4.4 to 4.8, maybe. Oh, 4.5 there. We might hit 4.6 if we're lucky. Well, there you have it, 4.7 kilometers. That is really close, actually. 100 meters away, roughly, from the other car. We don't have the other decimal points, but my goodness. This has been a lot of fun, actually. This has been a ton of fun to do these challenges, especially this one. I've enjoyed it quite a bit. So overall, if we look at the scores, things are, well, not too surprising. Basically, the Panther won. It actually won 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6 events, so yeah, a pretty easy victory for the Panther. Not too bad though, overall. It's been an interesting showing. It's been fun to drive these cars and just mess around with them as well. I've been having a lot of fun with this series, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to continue doing these sort of mini game things in the future as well, especially into 2020. I've got a couple more ideas, especially doing something to do with off-road and maybe rock crawling. Just some hints there, things I haven't done before. As with every video, and especially with this one, I just want to thank those who have chosen to support the channel, specifically Canadian Steel, Slow Fried Chicken 69, Overlord, Dr. Ivo, That Rice Out Explorer, Justin, QT Bear, and that most random person, although it's the most random person, my mistake in the last video. Either way, it's been good to be supported by all of you, and I thank you for your continued support of the channel. I'm hoping to continue on making some good content. I've got some weird stuff coming up as well. Maybe a little bit of inspiration from another channel that just kind of came into my radar a couple days ago. But anyways, I'll see you again next week. We're going to be doing some more stuff. I'm actually going to take a break from automation next week because I've been doing so many videos on it recently. But after that, we'll be right back into it.